Hi everyone, for those who are new to my channel, welcome! I'm Mari. I make illustrations and manga. You can find my work on Instagram at marigus with 3 O's. If you want to join my inner circle, check out my Patreon. For this video, I wanted to discuss 5 ways to avoid burnout. Seeing as this is an art channel, it has a slight art focus, but this can actually apply to far more than that, and it's really just advice for life in general. I'm still definitely tweaking this as I go on, but I find that these tips work really well for me so far, and I wanted to share them with you all. Before we get into that though, I wanted to say a few things about this piece I'm drawing. This was inspired by an especially hot day when I had to sit out for a couple of hours roasting. Perfect for this discussion of burnout, right? I decided to experiment with my process a bit here, trying out multicolored lines, taking advantage of my light box, using Procreate to make my underdrawing. You'll be able to see the process as I go over ways to avoid burnout. So here we go. Number 1, create systems. This is to take care of all those little tasks and chores that seem to keep getting pushed out because you don't want to do them or there's so many that you feel overwhelmed. Those types of tasks tend to be the things you have to do, so turn them into a system. What I mean by that is to create a daily habit where you do that task or make progress on it daily as part of your routine. For example, I made myself a morning routine. It's almost like code, like dominoes, one task triggers the next, because you'll get so used to doing them in a particular order, you'll just feel like you have to do it. What I like about these is that each task triggers the next, not time triggering each task. I used to try setting specific times for every little task, but I noticed if I ever missed one, I started to feel really bad and just missed everything. But this way, what's important is that you complete the current task, then move on to the next and then the next. If you miss a few some days, that's okay because you'll get to them the next day, little by little. Here's a small piece of my routine. When I wake up, I immediately get up. I open the bedroom door to let my cat in. She isn't allowed to sleep with me because she tries to choke me to death every time I let her. Then I open the blinds, check my plants, make the bed, light some incense, do a few yoga stretches, write my morning pages. You get the idea. Some of those tasks are super tiny and things that I would have done anyways and very easily, but that's what makes this work even better. When you tie a task that's a little more difficult to something super easy, the trigger for that bigger task becomes that super easy task. Keep practicing the routine until it becomes so ingrained you just wake up and do it out of habit. The great thing is, these routines help you feel productive and accomplished, which increases your motivation to do even more. And then once you get used to it, it becomes second nature and those tasks aren't really a big deal anymore. Now you have the time and mental space to focus on bigger things. Number 2, pacing. Prioritize your weekly tasks, then break them up into smaller, easier chunks and spread it out throughout the week. This is similar to number 1, but instead of focusing on daily tasks, this is weekly. I'm someone who constantly struggles with feeling like I need to do everything right this second. This tip helped me a ton to help me move away from that and finally have space to relax. Keep the number of unique tasks that you want to do under like 2 or 3 tasks per day, ideally just one major task to focus on, and then the rest are maybe a bit smaller. Make sure to be realistic with what you can achieve in the time that you have. Schedule those tasks out on Google Calendar or whatever you use to schedule your week. If you don't currently schedule your week out, I highly suggest it. It's not only helpful to make sure you accomplish what you want and keep track of it, it's a great way to give yourself space because you know you're scheduled to work on it later in the week. So if you ever find yourself with extra time, you can actually enjoy it. When I say schedule, you can set a specific time if that works for you, or you can just set it as a to-do list that you go through on those specific days. Whatever works for you. I like to schedule a specific time for myself, but leave things open for me to tackle them earlier in the day if I feel motivated. If you finish your tasks for the day early, you can decide to work on the next day's ones if you're feeling motivated to do it, but otherwise, try to just enjoy the free time and do something fun. If you weren't able to finish them, don't be too hard on yourself. If you underestimated the time it takes, take note of how long it actually took. It means that you'll have a better idea of how to schedule it in the future. Number 3, focus on one thing at a time. Don't multitask. By this, I mean try avoiding doing 2 or more equally complex and taxing sort of tasks at the same time or spliced together. Multitasking isn't as efficient as you might believe because it takes so much more brain power, you tire out sooner. It actually takes you a little bit longer to do all those tasks that you're trying to multitask. And then the quality of your work isn't as great as if you just focused on the one thing. It's just not worth it. It's also harder to enjoy what you're doing. For some people, listening to something of low intensity like an audiobook or a podcast works, and if that works for you, go for it. But if you ever notice your brain kind of feeling buzzy from trying to focus on too much stuff, try to unplug and just do one thing. Personally, I like to just listen to music when I draw because it helps me get into flow with my art and I can really focus on making the art. Number 4, take breaks. And not just little breaks here and there, but actually get up, go do something fun. Take a chunk of time and do whatever helps you refuel. For me, that's going outside for a walk or a hike. Protect that time for yourself because this is vital. This helps reduce your stress levels and also helps refuel your creativity. When you do take the break, give it your entire attention. Don't be trying to look at your phone while you go on that walk. This is a form of multitasking. Don't do it. Instead, really pay attention to what you decided to do. Listen to the birds, smell the air, look at the color of the sky and the leaves. Try to take these breaks regularly, but if you ever feel a burnout coming, make sure to pause and be kind to yourself. Number 5, proper self-care. And by this I mean good sleep, food, mental health, physical health. If your body and mind aren't in a good place, you'll already be stressed out before you even sit down to work. I highly recommend reading the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. What I learned about the effect of sleep in there was very eye-opening and life-changing. Sleep helps you on so many levels. Memory, mental health, physical health, just like everything. Give yourself at least an 8-hour sleep opportunity every night, meaning time in bed, and try to keep it at a consistent time. For me personally, I need a 9 to 10 hour sleep opportunity to be at my best. Make sure you're eating well, not skipping meals, trying to eat nutritious foods when you can, tune into how you're doing mentally, meditate, slow down. It may be helpful to talk to a therapist to have them teach you ways to combat negative thinking or new ways to look at things. This is a piece I've been focusing on this year and I'm really glad for it. Watch your physical health. Exercising is a great way to reduce stress. This is my new focus because this is where I'm definitely lacking. But I noticed that when I do incorporate more exercise, it really does help everything. If you found these tips helpful, please give the video a like. If you'd like more videos like this, definitely subscribe. It lets me know what content you like to see from me. If any of you have your own methods or tips that worked well for you, please share in the comments. I hope you have an awesome day. Dare to do what your heart desires and have fun. Bye everyone!